Hello and welcome to Into the Woods with Holly Worton. This podcast is all about our journey into the woods of ourselves, getting to know who we are, and where we're going in life so that we can create the life that we want to live. It's about deepening your connection with yourself, taking inspired action, and really trusting yourself and your intuition. It's also about mindset. Our beliefs are such an important part of this journey. And there are so many ways for us to change our mindset so that we can more easily live a life of expansive joy. This podcast is also about going literally into the woods and spending time in nature, and how that can help us on our own personal journey of self-knowledge. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now let's get into this week's episode. Hello, adventurers, and welcome to the Into the Woods podcast, episode 413. This is your host, Holly Worton, and I'm back with another solo episode. However, I have some really great guests lined up that I'm super excited about. So in the coming next couple of months, I've got a woman coming on to talk about women and hiking. I've got another woman coming on to talk about older women and hiking, so perimenopause and adventure. And then I've got someone coming on to talk about forest therapy and forest bathing and all of the kind of scientific health and well-being benefits that we get from being outdoors. So I'm super excited about that. So in the meantime, in today's episode, I'm going to talk about the benefits of getting outdoors and how to get more from your adventures. Talk about what makes us want to get outdoors, the call of the wild, why we're drawn to get outside, benefits of being outdoors, how we can call upon nature when we're feeling challenged in an adventure or an event, how nature can fuel your adventure, and how we can get inspiration from nature. So let's move into this week's episode. So what makes us want to get outdoors? I think that this is kind of where we're hardwired to be from ancient times. I think there's a part of us that's still like wild, hunter-gatherer, human. And I think that's why we crave it, some of us. I think that's why we feel so called to be outside and to have outdoor adventures. It gives us a different perspective. Instead of looking at the four walls of our office or wherever it is that we work, it gives us a much broader perspective. You can see the trees, you can see views. Depending on where you go, you get different landscapes. The sea can be just really mentally calming and clearing and just gives me a really expansive feeling because you can just kind of see out to the horizon. A lot of kind of agricultural views give me that as well. So when I'm walking a trail like the Ridgeway or the South Downs Way, you can see, you're up on a ridge and you can see just rolling hills and fields, and it gives you that expansive, broad perspective. Obviously, you don't get that as much if you're in the woods, but if you climb to the top of a hill or climb to the top of a mountain, you get that perspective as well. Getting outdoors engages all of our senses. Our sight, our smell, our touch, taste, maybe, depending on what you're eating when you're outdoors. But if you learn foraging, you can forage stuff as you go. So it really helps us to just make us feel alive because we've got all these smells and sights and textures and beautiful things that are very different from what we get within the confine of our office or our house or the places that we usually hang out all day and all night. And I was reading that in Finland, public health officials now recommend that people get 5 hours a month at the minimum in the outdoors or in the woods in order to prevent depression. And apparently this is based on scientific studies because they found that people need at least this time, that's 5 hours a month minimum, in order to preserve their mental health and well-being. So 5 hours a month, that's 1 hour and a bit a week. Hopefully everyone has enough time to do that. And I know the weather doesn't always cooperate, but of course you can get proper clothing for the weather that you have in your area. So I think these are reasons why we have that kind of call to get outdoors. But once we're out there, there's a lot of benefits, health and well-being benefits of being in the outdoors. And whether you're aware of this or not, you're going to get the benefits. But I think being aware of it makes it even more powerful. So reasons to get outside, health and well-being benefits of getting outside. One, getting outdoors gives you energy. So there was a study that suggested that spending 20 minutes in the open air gives your brain an energy boost that is comparable to 1 cup of coffee. 20 minutes. So again, I'm citing studies and things. I don't know how well these studies were done, but I think we've all had the experience that going outside gives us that energy boost. And that's huge. I mean, I think a lot of times, a lot of us are used to working indoors at a computer and can just feel cramped every once in a while, like you're just stuck in this place. And it's been pouring rain today, but for the previous 10 days, we had a lot of sunshine and heat and really nice weather. So I got back outdoors to work in the garden because I really, really enjoyed something that I started last year, which was working from our little table and chairs that we have in the garden. And things are blooming out there. I've got the fresh air. We live in a town, so it's not like we're in the middle of the countryside, but it just feels good. And I find that sometimes when I'm in my office and I'm trying to get work done and I'm stuck or just not feeling it, if I get outdoors to that table, assuming the weather is good, it just really makes a difference. It gives me that energy boost. It gives me that boost in focus. And studies have also shown that walking in nature or getting outdoor in nature can help restore our focus. So I know I talk a lot about outdoor adventures, but also think about how you can get outdoors to get your work done. I mean, if you work from home and you have a table outside, or you can go to a cafe outside, see if you can find a place to work from the outdoors. Because you're going to get all of these benefits, even though you're working and not like walking or running or cycling or doing hobbies. Apparently, the outdoors boosts your immune system. So there are these airborne chemicals produced by plants called phytoncides. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but studies have shown that breathing these in, these chemicals produced by plants and trees, it increases our levels of white blood cells, which of course can help us fight off infections and diseases. And in this world of the pandemic that seems to be going on, I think we can all agree that boosting our immune system in any way we can is a good thing. So, eat healthy foods, live a healthy lifestyle, get outdoors to boost your immune system. So, studies have shown that natural scents like flowers, freshly cut grass, pine trees, other trees can make us feel calmer and more relaxed. And so you get that from going for a walk in the woods or going into the seaside. I mean, you don't have a ton of plants there, but you can smell the sea. I live on an island and I so rarely go down to the coast. Recently on one of my ethnobotany course, I think it was, at the Woodcraft School, we went down to the sea to look at seaside plants. And I hadn't been to the coast in so long, probably since last year on the Woodcraft School when I did my wildlife tracking course and we went down to the same part of the coast to look at bird tracks. It was so stimulating and refreshing, and I didn't get in the sea, but a few other people did, and I did put my feet in the water, and it was just not just the smell of the sea, but that whole environment. It was just absolutely gorgeous, and I felt like it really, really helped to reduce stress. It was really gorgeous. Vitamin D, of course, depends on the sun, but even though we do get some of our vitamin D from food, apparently we get more than 90% of our vitamin D from sunlight. Even casual exposure to sunlight. So that doesn't mean that you should be lying out in the sun and suntanning. Obviously, use sunscreen and protect your skin. But even though you're sunscreening up, you can still get vitamin D from exposure to sunlight. And that's something you get outdoors, not indoors. Also, I have not found this to be true personally, but there is evidence, apparently, that short-term memory and working memory can be improved by spending time outdoors. My memory is terrible. There may be health reasons that are causing that, so I'm not a good example for this, but there is evidence that memory can be helped by spending time outdoors. I don't know, maybe I need to get outdoors more. Maybe that's a good excuse. Nature therapy, getting outdoors, has also been used to reduce PTSD and MST in veterans. And MST is military sexual trauma, so veterans who have experienced sexual assault while in the military. There have been groups of veterans that have been taken to nature, to the outdoors, to work on this trauma. And that's been really effective. So like I said, you get all of these benefits anyway. But if you set a conscious intention as to what you want to get out of your outdoors experience, I think that makes it even more powerful because you're aware of it. So kind of go over this list and think like, I'm going to go on a run. I'm going to go on a walk. What do I want to get out of this? Do I want to get energy? Do I want to boost my immune system? Do I want to reduce stress? You're going to get all the benefits anyway. But like, think about what is one of the primary things that you want to get out of it. And then focus on how you feel going into the experience and how you feel afterwards in relation to that benefit. So obviously your immune system, you're not going to know. My immune system feels like it's boosted. But energy-wise, stress-wise, anxiety, how did you feel? Like, what was your stress level before you went outdoors on a scale of 1 to 10? And how was it afterwards? I think that can be really, really helpful to pay attention to those things, because that just kind of cements the evidence in our minds of just how powerful these activities are. So sometimes when we're out in nature and we're doing an event like a race or a longer run or walk or a bigger adventure that maybe is new or takes us out of our comfort zone, sometimes we feel challenged. It is not unusual for me to cry if I'm not having a good moment on a run. I'm not a crier, but, hey, running makes me cry sometimes. Sometimes we have low points. Sometimes we're frustrated. Sometimes we get, irritable. Sometimes, we're feeling challenged and crappy emotions come up. So how can we call upon nature when we're feeling these challenges to kind of release these negative emotions or emotions that we perceive as being negative and kind of lift us up? Be in the moment. So draw your focus away from your crappy emotions or your crappy feelings and focus on the stuff outside of you. Focus on the scenery. Focus on the landscape. Look at the plants. Look at the trees. Look at the sky. Look at the clouds. Look at the trail. Look at all the stuff around you and maybe name those things. That can help too. Oh, there's a pine tree. Oh, that's a holly tree. Oh, that's a lesser celandine. A random wildflower. That was the first thing that came into my head. That's heather over there. Name the things that you see. And that can help you to kind of take the focus out of your inner world and into your outer world. And that can open up that perspective. Also, being in appreciation. So being grateful for the opportunity that you have today to be outdoors, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're cycling or running or walking. And be grateful that your body can take you places. So a lot of times when I get to a low point during a run, I'm just feeling sorry for myself. And I'm like, I have a blister and my feet hurt and my back hurts. And it's like I get in this So shifting my focus from that negativity and being grateful. Even when I have bad runs, my body is taking me on these runs. I can't believe the distances that I'm running. Been listening to this podcast since last year, I didn't used to run that much. And I couldn't run more than a half an hour last summer. And now here I am. So I am very grateful, even when I have my low periods, that my body can take me these places. My legs can take me places. My feet can take me places. I'm amazed and I'm super grateful for this. So get down to the details. Feet, I am grateful for you because you're taking me down this trail. Legs, same thing. You're taking me places. Heart, you're pumping that blood all around the body, helping me do my running. Lungs, I haven't had an asthma attack in this entire run. I'm doing really well. Thank you for functioning as you should. Go through your different body parts and thank them either out loud or in your head, however you want to. But getting down again to those details and naming the different body parts and telling them thank you, that can get you out of that low place. I find that gratitude in all parts of life, when I'm feeling crappy, just completely shifts my mindset around, gets me out of that low place and just lifts me up into a better place that can keep me kind of going. Either on a run, in an outdoors adventure, or just in life in general. Doing a gratitude list really, really helps. And I know a lot of people balk at doing this, and a lot of people hesitate to do it, but it can help. And you don't have to do a gratitude list every day. You don't even have to write it down. You can just go through the stuff in your head. Do whatever works for you, of course, but know that you don't have to be super formal about this. You can literally just be like, in your head, feet, thank you, you're taking me down this trail. So those are some things that you can do to call upon nature and to shift your mindset when you're in a low place. So how can nature fuel your adventure? And this is something very particular. I kind of reach out to nature on my runs, particularly trees. So a couple of years ago, I was training for one of my kickboxing gradings, and I thought they were going to make us run up and down Box Hill like they had on a previous advanced grading. And so I was doing my trainings on Box Hill. Like I was running from the school that we usually have the kickboxing classes at, to Box Hill, up Box Hill, down Box Hill, back to the school. And that was my run. And it was really challenging because it's going up a big hill and it's like those woodland stairs that are kind of uneven and it's just awkward. And the stairs on Box Hill are lined by these beautiful old yew trees. And a lot of times I would just be like out of breath and getting an asthma attack. And I would kind of, need to slow down and take a puff on my inhaler. And I would kind of reach out to one of the trees and I would just say, like, please, can you just give me some energy? Help me get up this hill. And I feel like it helped. So touch a tree, ask for its support, ask for its help, ask for some energy. You can say that out loud. You can give them a silent message. You can do this if people are around. Just like lean up against the tree, casually have a sip of your water, and in your head, ask the tree for help or whatever it is that you need. That can be really helpful, I think. You may believe that the trees can communicate with us. You may not. Obviously, I do. But I found it really helpful to get that support because trees are so strong and grounded and just powerful looking. And so they just feel strong to me. So asking the trees for strength and support and energy to get up a hill, that's something that really kind of is aligned with me. So how can we get inspiration for other areas of our life from going out into nature? It gets us in a new environment. So again, it gets us out of the office, out of our home, into a new environment. Even if it's an outdoors environment that you go to every day, like a park or a woodland, like it's still outside of your home and your office. So it gets you in a new environment, gives you that new perspective, and allows new ideas to come in. You might learn something new just by walking around and looking at trees and plants and thinking, oh, I see the plant every day, I don't know what it is. And so you take a picture of it or you use one of the plant ID apps and try to figure it out. You might learn something new. You might get out of your comfort zone by going on a new trail or a longer trail or doing a different type of activity outdoors. And that can give you inspiration in other areas of your life. Because like I say, getting out of your comfort zone in one area stretches that comfort zone in other areas of your life. It can also help you get into flow. So activities like running or hiking or cycling that are kind of repetitive, that like one foot after the other, can help you get into that state of mental flow, which I often describe as like a kind of mobile meditation where my brain goes somewhere and I'm not really thinking about anything, but it's almost like meditation. I mean, it gives me that same kind of clear mind feeling that allows new ideas to come in, and I get so many ideas when I'm out walking a long distance trail. Even running, I send myself notes on my phone. And you might learn from someone on the trail. So you might meet someone else while you're out. You might meet from someone on a park. You might meet someone new. You never know. It's not just trees and plants out there. You might see an animal and learn something there. And you can also journal about your experience when you get home and use that to kind of get inspiration from the adventure or event or the nature or whatever it is that you did. When I do a long distance run or walk, I always come home and I take notes about what went right, what went wrong, what did I learn, what do I want to do differently next time, what I liked, what I didn't like, that kind of thing. And that really helps me to kind of reflect upon the experience. And you can do that for, a big adventure, a new adventure, a different adventure, or just everyday adventures. Or take the journal with you. If you're going to go out to a park or a woodland or somewhere where you can sit down, take your journal and just write when you're outdoors. And that can help give you inspiration. You might sit by a tree with your eyes closed and just relax and then write down stuff that pops into your head. I mean, when we give ourselves these spaces and these kind of time capsules away from normal life, normal rhythm, normal routine, and we get outdoors and we slow down. So many magical things happen to our brain. Like so many ideas can pop into our heads. We might get new creative ideas for a new project or a new book or a new something. Nature and getting outdoors can be so inspiring and so useful in terms of helping us with our creative projects and our creative adventures and our creative lives. So that is all for today. I wanted to make that kind of short, but hopefully inspiring. Please drop me a line and let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Also, please let me know what you get out of nature. Like, what makes you want to get outdoors? What do you feel are the benefits of being outdoors for you? And how do you get inspiration from getting outdoors? I would love to hear from you. So you can email me at holly@hollyworton.com or find me online and get in touch there. I would love to hear from you. Love hearing from people. And thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. It would mean the world to me. Next week's episode will be a guest, I'm pretty sure, if all goes well, and I'm super excited about that. So I will leave that as a surprise, but it's going to be one of my exciting new guests. And for now, remember to visit hollyworton.com/413 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and happy trails. Thanks so much for listening to Into the Woods with Holly Worton. You can find more information about today's episode, including links for topics that were discussed, at hollyworton.com. That's HOLLYWORTON.com. If you'd like to connect with other listeners and get support on your journey, I would love for you to join my private community on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Holly Worton. That's patreon.com/Holly Worton. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you next week.